Can you tweet out the YouTube link too?
Yeah, I can. I think it does it that way. It's live. You want me to tweet YouTube or just it's on live on Twitter separately?
Yeah, it's two different things. I think it'd be great to tweet it out on YouTube so that everyone can see.
Okay.
Multi-channel.
Alrighty, and
Calvin's on early.
We are live. You can see us on Twitter and on YouTube, so we are officially live.
Woo!
That is exciting.
Celebrate.
Cool. So you want to start us off?
Yeah. All right. Hello, everyone. For those of you that don't recognize my face, I am Megan Gower, host of our Her Hoop Stats Unplugged podcast, and I've been with the team for, I don't know, we've talked about it 4 years now, so a long time. But welcome to our Her Hoop Stats 5th anniversary party / women's basketball trivia night. I am here with Erin Barzilai, the Her Hoop Stats founder, and Adam Vachon, who's going to run our trivia night tonight. So we're excited to have you all on.
Excited to be here, Megan. It is really kind of crazy to think that it's our 5th anniversary this month.
Yeah, it really is. I can't believe it's already been 5 years.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of dreams when we started, but like the idea of having a 5th anniversary party, I mean, certainly I thought we would go more than 5 years, but definitely was not on my radar. Since we're having trivia tonight, I'll ask you, do you know the exact date when we went live back in 2017? I think people can probably guess since it's 5-year anniversary, but we did.
I don't remember the exact date. I want to say it was somewhere in the middle of the season in 2017. Is that right?
It is. Yeah, I think Adam, right? We talked about this. So
we talked about it. So
you're a ringer.
I'll refrain. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first tweet, it's pretty funny, was from December 3rd. So we're actually slightly older than 5 years now, kind of in classic Her Hoop Stats fashion. We were trying to get it all ready for the start of the season, but definitely doing a little extra validating and making sure that we were comfortable kind of releasing the information. It's really amazing. I think we tweeted that out over the summer, something how different the site looks relative to our very first tweet.
Yes, yeah, definitely. A lot has been done since 2017. So exciting that we are at that 5-year mark.
Yeah. And I'm excited for tonight. I think it's going to be a ton of fun, sort of a mix of kind of catching up with folks like the two of you, as well as Adam's kind of trivia night genius. I don't want to oversell it, but we did it as about this time last year. And it was pretty amazing. I think the team had a ton of fun. We just did a sort of an internal kind of fun event when there were fewer games in this kind of mid to late December period. And I know everyone on the team had a great time. So, I don't think we've pulled it off since. There was sort of demand like, oh, it'd be fun to do this more often. So it's really exciting to do this kind of with the public today.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to hear people had I had a great time hosting and putting together the game, and really glad we're able to open it up to the general public and the women's basketball community who's been so supportive of us for the past 5 years. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah. And so I want to take a moment to thank the two of you for helping with this tonight, and really, kind of the two of you and everybody we're going to speak to today, I think really represents sort of, all the people that have been a part of the Her Hoop Stats team. It's pretty amazing when you think about the number of people that have been on for quite some time. And, the site wouldn't be, Her Hoop Stats wouldn't be where it is kind of without the contributions of everybody. And so, well, I'd love to thank everyone by name. I think that, definitely I just want to make sure whether folks are a part of the team now, like the two of you, or some folks that have been on the team in the past, just how grateful I am. I think that we'll see how many of my cliches I use tonight. You've heard a lot, but as you can guess, I always say that, there's a lot that I'm proud of what we've done with Her Hoop Stats, but by far the thing that I'm most proud of is the team. It's just really amazing how committed everybody is. And then, I sort of made an intentional decision at the start unlike some other sites that do basketball stats. I didn't just want to do this by myself for a lot of different reasons. I knew that, there'd be kind of strength really in all the different perspectives, people coming at women's basketball from different angles and interests. And there's no doubt that that has just kind of paid off in spades. I think most of our best ideas, including doing this trivia night tonight, got to come from the team. So thank you. And thanks to everybody that's been a part of it. And really thanks to everybody watching today, people that are following us on social media, reading our newsletter, listening to our podcast, and, subscribing to our stats site. That's what really helps keep us going in a lot of different ways.
Definitely. Adam, should I hand it over to you to get it started with some introductions for trivia?
Yeah, absolutely. So, everyone, welcome to Women's Basketball Trivia Night. So, first things first, if you want to play tonight's game, the way to do that, you're just going to need a laptop, phone, or tablet, and go to the site playquiz.live. Playquiz.live. So all of your answers are going to be submitted through this. This is Sporkle. I don't know if you're familiar. Sporkle Trivia's digital answering system. So they've graciously allowed us to use that. So they're awesome. Really appreciate that. So go to playquiz.live. And then once you're on that site, you are going to enter some information, your first and last name for your quote team name, number of people, which is probably going to be 1 because I think people will be playing individually, and most importantly, a 4-digit code to enter the game. And tonight's 4-digit code is 9463. 9463. So playquiz.live 9463. Oh, here we go. And
can you tell how many people are signing up as this is happening?
Yeah, they're rolling in right now. So yeah, we've got 4 and 5. Yeah. Oh, here they come. All right.
Is that your phone buzzing because it's blowing up with sign-up? That's awesome.
That is unrelated. It's just being unprofessional. So yes. So maybe you'll just give a couple minutes for people to make their way into the game, and I guess we can maybe
sure.
Chat
excellent. Yeah. So like I said, we're gonna have a lot of different guests, but we can start with you, Adam, as well. You too, Megan, if you want to. Well, hop on. So one question I'm gonna be asking a lot of people is do you remember when you decided you wanted to reach out to me about joining the team? Adam?
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah. It was during during the pandemic for sure. It was, not that whatever. It's late December, I think, was when or December of 2020 is when I think, or maybe January 2021 is when I first reached out. And, was aware of the site, all the great work that Her Hoop Stats had done, and just interested in kind of getting involved, seeing if I could get involved. And I just went to the About Us page and saw your, I think so. About Us, or one of the pages on Her Hoop Stats that contained your email address, and just kind of reached out on a whim and, wanted to see if there was any way I could help. And, we had a few conversations after that. And I just kind of jumped right in on the newsletter side, and did a lot of the weekly roundup throughout the WNBA and NCAA seasons. And that was a great way to get involved. And it's just been, you thanked us for, helping out and whatever. I'm just very thankful for the opportunity to do this and be a part of such an awesome community of people so passionate about and interested in women's basketball. It's a really cool experience, and I'm really thankful for that. So
thanks. That's great. So did you have any idea what you're getting yourself into when you reached out?
That's a loaded question. No. Not particularly. I knew just in general, I wanted to do something in the realm of basketball statistics, and obviously Her Hoop Stats is kind of a good place to go for that. But in terms of exactly what I'd be doing and what the kind of team and community would be like, I didn't really know what to expect. So,
Interesting.
so that was a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I'm surprised to hear you say that. Really, you got it from my email address from the About Us page. I thought sort of everyone kind of typically responded to the postings that we do on Twitter. I suppose in the same way that we don't really ask a lot of questions when people sign up about kind of who their favorite team is and kind of how they're connected to women's basketball. I have not been asking everybody when they reach out to me about joining the team, how they heard about that. So maybe heard about us. Maybe we should. So so you've your weekly roundups have been amazing, and I think people who have been reading those have a sense about I think that's one reason there was a trivia question every week in those. So hopefully, you're not recycling any of those questions, are you? Is that a study guide?
I know I put a lot out there, so hopefully I really tried to avoid repeats. So hopefully, hopefully I managed to put out some new material.
Excellent. Well, like I said, I really appreciate it. And you, I don't know if we're allowed to reveal people's secure, undisclosed locations that they're a part of the team from, but I will say that it was great. I think we met in person once, right? Which was at the Final Four this past year. So that was a ton of fun. I think we had a ton of people out there. I know Lindsay Schnell from the USA Today was commenting while we were out there. It seemed like we were having like a business meeting or something with the whole team, like a team offsite. So it's funny. The people, there are definitely some people that are gonna be on tonight that I've never met in person, never seen in 3D. But I do try to make the most of opportunities at big events like things like the Final Four to see folks. And you, Megan, right? I'm trying to think. You've been on this team for a very long time. I think you're one of the old timers. I'm not going to call you an old fogey because I'm an old fogey, but I'm trying to think. The first time we met was probably in person, right? I think that was the Tampa Final Four in 2019, right?
Yep. And I joined the team back in 2018. I think probably even before we were putting calls out on Twitter for volunteers.
That would be amazing. Yeah. Phil Walsh is going to be joining us later. Definitely joined, I think, around that time as well. So you've been following women's basketball, Megan, for a ton of time. How long really have you been a women's basketball fan for?
For like as long as I can remember growing up in Connecticut. It was just, there's no professional teams. You were a UConn fan growing up here. So,
and how I know that that first time we met, you were at the Final Four, kind of as a fan for UConn, right? For those that are a little unclear that you root for UConn, right? I think it was you and your mom were there.
Yep. Yeah, so, it's always been a family thing.
How many Final Fours have you been to, do you think?
That was only my second. So last year was my third. I haven't been to that many. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, we were both. My first Final Four was, the first year that we started Her Hoop Stats. It was the Eureka Final Four in Columbus, Ohio. And so you said you were there too, right? I remember we talked about this before, but our paths did not cross. At least we don't think that. So I don't know that we had a Her Hoop Stats gear. We must have had Her Hoop Stats shirts or something at that point, but probably doesn't matter. So yeah, do you have any? I'm curious. Like, do you remember kind of reaching out and like sort of, kind of what made you decide you want to be a part of the team? Obviously, very grateful you did.
Yeah, I remember following Her Hoop Stats on Twitter and being very excited that there was something that resembled KenPom on the website. I've always been a KenPom follower for a very long time. And then I think I just cold reached out because I was interested. And I didn't even know that you were looking for volunteers, honestly, at the time. But here we are 4 years later, 4.5 years later, whatever it is. So
it's just amazing. I remember, some of the milestones that we were celebrating like around the time when you joined, and to think about those and kind of where we are now with like the number of Twitter followers and whatnot, and then newsletter readers and podcast listeners. So it's been quite a ride. It's kind of fun to imagine where we'll be 5-10 years from now. But I always say, right, the key is, it's a lot of hard work and a lot of people are definitely tired, especially, doing it on top of all of our other kind of commitments during the day. And so, but it's, kind of moments like these, I think, that kind of are sort of energizing and just kind of a lot of fun and sort of the payoff in some ways. So that's great. I think with that, maybe we should jump in, Adam. I know you got a couple more slides on the rules, and then we can reveal the first question. When I previewed this the other day, it did look a little challenging, so I'll be interested to see how many of our competitors today, how many questions is the most that someone can get right. Oh, I think, are you on mute? or I cannot hear you. And I don't think I can fill that in, although we can.
Hello?
Oh, that sounds better.
All right, good. All right, sorry about that. I have faith in the women's basketball community that they'll rise to the occasion. I think, I think it's a challenge, but I think people will bring their A games. I have faith. All right, so let me dive into basically the lay of the land here. So. And for those joining late, the way to join the game is going to be in the upper right-hand corner of each slide. You just got to go to the site playquiz.live and enter the code, along with your full name, enter the code 9463. Playquiz.live 9463. So the way the game works is there are going to be 8 questions in the so-called regular round. You can wager points 1 through 8 on each question, but you can only use each point value once per game. If you're confident in your answer, you should wager high. If not, well, you should wager low. After questions 4 and 8, there's going to be a mystery round, which works a little bit differently, and I'll explain the ins and outs of that once we get there. And then lastly, after the second mystery round, it's all going to come down to one final question before we can declare the winners of the game. And a few other ground rules. Please don't cheat. It's very easy to do this on virtual trivia. So please, no use of outside resources, no Google, Bing. Ask Jeeves if for whatever reason that's your jam. For those who don't know what Ask Jeeves is, I am dating myself. It's a search engine that existed way back in the day. Please don't do that. Also, all answers are final once submitted. And really important, whether you're playing or just watching, please do not post any answers in the chat. That's kind of the equivalent of if you're playing bar trivia and someone at the bar yells out an answer. It just ruins the game for those around you. And if you post a wrong answer, you're going to look a little foolish. So let's just agree not to do it. All right. Let's see if there are any more teams. We got some good amount coming in there. All right. And prizes, of course. So first prize is going to get a Her Hoop Stats Pro subscription and your choice of Her Hoop Stats swag. And second and third place are going to get a Her Hoop Stats Pro subscription or your choice of Her Hoop Stats swag. So like I said, it's as good, if not better, than the tiny Kelsey Plum All-Star Game MVP trophy. So yes, lots of great prizes on the line. And if you're lucky enough to be one of the top 3 players, the way to claim your prize is to email Aaron at his email address, Aaron Barzilai at herhoopstats.com. All right, without further ado, here are the questions in the regular rounds. We have round 1 is going to consist of 4 questions in the categories of WNBA records, NCAA champions, NCAA records, and AAU. And round 2 is going to consist of questions in the categories of NCAA upsets, films, NCAA firsts, and WNBA All-Star games. And as I said before, each round is going to be followed by a mystery round. That's going to be worth up to 8 points apiece. All right. Without further ado, let's get this game started. Gotta love that GIF right there. Awesome stuff. Anyway, moving on. Round 1, question 1. It's in the category of WNBA records. 2022 is indeed the year of the triple-double. Of the 20 triple-doubles in league history, 45% were recorded in 2022. Who played a major role in this explosion of triple-doubles, recording 4 such games in 2022, giving her both the single season and career record? 2 of those 4 triple-doubles occurred in back-to-back games in the WNBA Finals. All right, guys, with each of these questions, we're going to give you about 90 seconds to get those answers in. And I see they're coming in very quickly.
I'm feeling good about this one, Adam. I'm not entering, right? But this one I think I actually know. And
Yeah.
this is a good segue to our first guest when we bring him on.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I think Jacob is here. So
Awesome.
welcome, Jacob.
Hi, how's it going?
We are doing okay. It's nice to have you here. Are we ready to? How do you want to do this, Adam? Should we talk now? You want to, Jacob? Do you know the
still
answer to
have
this
some
one?
answers coming in. I'll give you guys another like 30 seconds to get those answers in. You guys can kind of chat. Well, got a few more teams or a few more players that haven't submitted yet.
So, Jacob, don't give it away. But do you know the answer? You think?
I'm pretty sure I do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you do as well.
All right. I'm going to give a last call for answers. Teams that have not submitted, going to give you 10 more seconds. 10 more seconds. There we go. Almost there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Gonna have to move on here. All right. Question number 1. It's in the category of WNBA records. 2022 was the year of the triple-double. 45% of all triple-doubles in league history were recorded last year. Who played a major role in that explosion of triple-doubles, recording 4 such games? There we go. In 2022, giving her both the single season and career record. Your answer from the Connecticut Sun, Alyssa Thomas. Alyssa Thomas. All right.
1 for 1.
I think Jacob got that one. Yeah, he was pretty quick on the trigger. That was pretty solid work there. All right. Well done to those players who got that right. I'm going to move it on to Q2. Q2, it's going back a little in time. It's in the category of NCAA champions, excuse me. All they did was win, no matter what. What program, currently a member of the Big 12, was the first team to cap off an undefeated season with an NCAA championship? Once again, what program, currently a member of the Big 12, was the first team to cap off an undefeated season with an NCAA championship? All right, guys, I'm going to give you about 90 seconds to get those answers in, as always. And as always, good luck.
This is a good clue. Jacob, you look confident, I can tell.
I don't actually look confident. There's a word in there that's throwing me off and making me second guess my instinct.
Oh, really?
So.
What if I don't think I'm giving anything away, Adam, to say, what if I told you I had a 1 in 12 chance of guessing the right team?
I think they're only 10, aren't there? Yeah. Okay.
I believe it's probably more over the course of the history of that Big 12 conference, though. Oh, no, I guess not.
Right, but currently a member of the Big 12. So
currently?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes. So, yeah, I think it's literally a 10% chance. So, yeah. All right, guys. Going to give you about 30 more seconds. 30 seconds to get those answers in.
Sweet.
Once again, remember what program, currently a member of the Big 12, was the first team to cap off an undefeated season with an NCAA championship. All right. Almost got all those answers in. All right. Going to give you guys about 15 seconds. 15 seconds.
Oh, you're going soft.
I know.
We need the stopwatch.
There we go. I know, right? All right. All right. All of our answers are in.
Wonderful.
Question number 2. It's in the category of NCAA champions. All they did was win, no matter what. What program, currently a member of the Big 12, was the first team to cap off an undefeated season with an NCAA championship? Well, UConn was next in 1995, but the first to do it,
We're going way back.
Texas, 85-86, led by Jody Conrad, and that's Annette Smith in the picture, Fran Harris, Clarissa Davis. They were kind of the big-time players on that squad that went, I believe, 34-0. Obviously, UConn's done it a few times after that. Baylor, sure I'm forgetting 1 or 2, but Texas was the first. All right. So before we move on to round 3, I'm going to throw it to Aaron and we can chat with Jacob a little more.
Yeah. So Jacob, welcome. As I said, I think that first question was pretty topical because I think you are our triple double king on the team. I know you put in how much work was it to put together that database of all triple doubles in NCAA history?
I mean, getting the data brought into a clean format was probably a couple hours, but signing up for newspapers.com subscription to clean up some of the missing data, that one took quite a lot longer. But yeah, several hours at least, I'd say.
Yeah. And what are we up to? We're over 1,000 triple doubles now in NCAA history, right?
No, I don't.
I
think we're at about 618 last I
saw.
saw.
Okay. I knew it was a round number. Maybe I'm remembering the 600. So cool. Well, I appreciate that. You do a lot of very creative things on our team. I sort of mentioned at the start, right, that some of the best ideas from the team or some that we do really have come from the team. And, certainly I think one of them is something that you spearhead for us, which is the Hammond Award. How did that idea come to you?
So originally, I forget who had the idea to start with, but someone just in our ideas channel way back in 2019 this would have been probably like middle of November 2019, just said like, hey, I think a cool idea would be to write up like the top 5 most intriguing mid-major players in the country. I very quickly, at the time going to Drake, a mid-major power, jumped to that opportunity. And in the process of starting to do the research, I just decided to go fully into it and get a list of 25, try and make it as official as we could, treat it like every other national award, give it the respect that it deserves. And since then, we've kind of been trying to uphold that standard. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I know it's a ton of work for you in particular to kind of go through, both kind of all the work we do for the award, including, ultimately sending out the trophy, but then also all the kind of press release kind of information that we're sending to every team. So really, really appreciate it. Yeah, you work on a lot of different things for us, right? You do help us with our salary cap information, keeping that up to date. You wrote, with Richard Cohen, the CBA FAQ, the WNBA CBA FAQ. We'll see when we have to revise that, right? It depends.
Sounds like a couple things might be coming, so.
Exactly. I'm trying to think what are some of the other things that, a lot of live tweeting. What are some other things that you've been working on? There's so much that I can't remember it all.
So I mean, I originally started back in, it would have been like late October of 2018. I was like all ready to go on like the back end stuff and like helping like with querying and like getting like fun, really random stats that I was really into. But I was looking back, and I think the first 4 things that I did was writing about some degree of women's basketball in Iowa. I wrote a Drake season preview. I wrote a kind of Iowa State retrospective of Bridget Carlton. I wrote a Sarah Ryan kind of like in-season profile of her game. And then I think after that, there's one I'm forgetting, but it took me quite a while to not write about Drake or Iowa State or the Hawkeyes or UNI. But yeah, so that's kind of where I started. And then since then, I tend to write, like you said, the CBA FAQ articles kind of by volume, probably most of what I've written. But then I like to throw in like the year-end weird stats or the kind of like tournament preview, tournament recap, interesting stat type thing. So a lot of real niche and minute details that are not super interesting to like everyone, but I find them amazing. So
yeah, well, I do too, right? I think that our whole theory right on our team is that we should just be doing the stuff that interests us, and presumably if we as women's basketball fans are interested, there must be other people out in the world that do it too, right? We're not trying to reinvent the coverage per se. There's a lot of great examples of how to cover basketball out there. But yeah, no. So you're a person that I think that has a lot of different interests and kind of your finger in a lot of different pots, or what they say. Yeah. So you too are someone that I met for the first time in person. It's kind of crazy given how long we've known each other that the first time we met in person was at the Final Four this past year in Minnesota. You're Minneapolis, right? Your hometown, right? We can say that, can't we?
Fair enough. Yeah, close enough.
So, but you are also part of our Iowa contingent. I will say, I don't think I fully understood before, I really started following women's basketball hoops, how strong women's basketball is in Iowa. Not just the University of Iowa State, but some other schools as well. So it's pretty cool. And, we have little sometimes pockets of concentration of people on the team, people from Connecticut, just because there's a strong women's basketball tradition. There are a lot of people in the DC area and Iowa as well.
Yeah. I mean, women's basketball fans in particular are formed by being around great women's basketball. Growing up in Minnesota and then moving to Des Moines for Drake for college, pretty good 1-2 punch of fun teams to be watching over the past 8-9 years at this point. Obviously Connecticut, big hotbed for that as well. I know we have.
Yeah, it's almost as if you make it easy for people to watch women's basketball. They decide they like it.
Yeah, if you televise it and have it be you make it a priority, people will actually pay attention to it. So.
Indeed. Cool. Well, thanks so much for hopping on, Jacob.
Yeah.
And seriously, thanks for everything you do. Really appreciate you. Definitely help make her Hoop Stats Go. Wouldn't be the same without you.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Thanks, Jacob. All right. Thank you, Jacob. And now let's continue the trivia proceedings with question number 3. Question number 3. It's in the category of NCAA records. Guys, who set the NCAA record for single season free throw percentage last season, knocking down an absurd 97.3% of her attempts from the charity stripe? The player in question, who played at a mid-major school last season, was second in the nation with 3 triple doubles during the 2021-2022 season. All right, going to give you all 90 seconds to mull that one over. Good luck.
This is a good one. So Zoe, I see you've joined us here in the chat. Where are you? Are you allowed to say what your secure undisclosed location is that you're coming at? What city are you in right now?
I'm in Oklahoma City right now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So have you, do you think you have a guess for this one? I won't ask you to say it out loud since we're trying to keep everybody in suspense, but
I really don't know. Although that's very impressive free throw percentage.
I think absurd. Now you
percentage.
Remind me again, all the basketball that you've played, right? You played in high school.
Yeah.
Did you play in college too? I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I started for my first 3 years at Winthrop. And then I transferred to WashU in St. Louis for my last 2 seasons.
What was your career high in free throw percentage? Did you ever shoot 97.3% in a game? Let's start with that.
Oh, I'm sure I've shot 100% in a game before. I think my senior year I shot about 89%, something like that.
Ooh, very nice.
But fun fact, this is not women's basketball, but my brother led Division III NCAA in free throw percentage his senior year. He shot 95%.
Oh,
wow.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Could he tell you what how many he shot exactly? Like I was 95 or 100 or whatever.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
I bet he could. You could ask him over the holidays.
All right.
Yeah.
Just gonna jump in really quickly. People, you got 30 seconds. 30 seconds to get those answers in. All right.
Very nice. So, so you, Zoe, so we're continuing, Adam and Megan, I realized as I was setting this up, Adam and Megan and I are on the East Coast, but the other special guests on the podcast, so many are coming to us from other time zones. I felt actually pretty good about that we weren't all from, the mid-Atlantic region or whatever. I haven't, I don't think I've actually seen you. You were on the team. When was that exactly? Was it probably 2 years ago now, right? Or was it just one?
Yeah, maybe about 2 years ago. That sounds right.
Gotcha.
All right, guys. Last call for answers. 10 seconds. 10 seconds on the clock.
Maybe for the 10-year, we'll have more Jeopardy sound effects or whatever.
Yeah. Enhance that production value. But no, this was good.
It's amazing. Yeah. It looks great as it is.
Absolutely.
It's time for the big reveal.
All right. Yes, it is. Oh, there we go. Got our last answer in. Perfect. All right. All of our answers are now in. Question number 3. So in the category of NCAA records, who set the NCAA record for single season free throw percentage last season, knocking down a ridiculous 97.3% of our attempts from the charity stripe? The player in question, who played at a mid-major school last season, was second in the nation with 3 triple-doubles during last season. This person shot 109 for 112. And I said she played at a major school last season. She transferred to Miami. We were looking for Haley Cavender.
Gabe, where are you?
Yes.
Our resident Miami fan, Gabe Ibrahim.
Yes. Yeah, a few teams. That was a tough one. A few players actually got that one right. So shout out to those who managed to pull out Haley Cavender as the correct answer.
Do we have a couple 3 for 3 still? Do we have some people that are 3 for 3?
Is that hard to tell? Can't immediately tell.
Oh.
Yeah. I think that one knocked out a lot of people. Well, everyone can still play, but in terms of perfection, so. Anyway, so we're going to move it on to question number 4. Question number 4, we're going way back here. Category of AAU. What school, whose nickname was inspired by the airplanes that transported the team to away games starting in 1951, compiled a mind-boggling 131-game winning streak en route to 4 consecutive AAU national titles from 1954 through 1957. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a good one. I thought the last one was tough too. For the
for sure. But a few people got that. So
So Zoe, I will say that in her classic Her Hoop Stats fashion, because everybody that's on the team usually has other commitments, right? And it's just amazing they can do anything. A lot of people, were a little less kind of familiar with you that are on our team now, so they were excited to learn more about you. So when you joined the team. You were then a PhD candidate in statistics, right, at Berkeley, if I'm remembering correctly?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. How long did that take, by the way? How long did you spend at Berkeley?
I was there for 4.5 years, basically.
That's pretty good time, I would say, for a PhD.
Yeah.
So, I guess it took me, I think I was more like 5.5 for mine. I always say on the East Coast that, when you meet someone that went to a Pac-10 or a Pac-12 school, it's like, it's practically like you went to the same school because there's not so much of that. And so, your main role on our team, right, was to build our NCAA prediction model, which, I don't think a lot of people realize. Do you remember kind of what that was like working together? Like, was it fun? What were some of the challenges of that?
Yeah. It's been a while now. It's probably been, like you said, 2 years. So it's hard to remember the details, but it was definitely fun. It was a good experience. So I hadn't really at that point, for me personally, done a lot in Python. So that's what we did the modeling in. So that was kind of a new task for me to do. I had done a good amount of modeling in grad school, but not necessarily using Python. And basically we were just trying to predict like scores of games and win probability to, help us figure out who the best teams were using strength of schedule and all those different kinds of metrics. So it was definitely a good experience. And I learned a lot doing it with you.
Well, I learned a lot doing it with you. It was really cool, some of the ideas you had and sort of approaches that you brought. And, definitely, I think at that point we had a V1. I think we launched the first version. Actually, I think that first season, again, with the idea that our Her Hoop Stats rating would be sort of the equivalent of the KenPom rating for women's basketball. We actually launched it before the net came out by a couple of years, but I knew that, it needed a lot of work and there was a lot of room for improvement. And so when you had reached out to me and said that you were available and interested, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, it'd be so great to have you do it. It was a long process, right? I seem to recall it took like us a number of months. We'd kind of typically meet weekly. You'd be doing work kind of in that time, and then we kind of review it.
A lot of back and forth. I think that's the case with, I've learned with any modeling projects, it takes longer than you anticipate that it will take. And there's a lot of sort of iterations on trying to make it as good as you can. So.
Indeed. And again, in classic Herbs fashion, as I referred to earlier, right, we did manage to squeeze it. I think we launched in late February a couple of years ago. So we did wanted to get some data in and make sure it seemed reasonable before the NCAA tournament started that year. And it's been performing amazing. I think I told you that, but I think we're very happy with how it's kind of turned out and relative to what are some of the kind of benchmarks that are out there. There aren't too many models out there, but consistently we get feedback like it's amazing how we do it. I think that I always say, like, when you were part of building it, kind of all the weaknesses. So sometimes it's I'm amazed at how well it does doing for all the things that I think you and I could imagine doing if we had an infinite improvements we can make if we had an infinite amount of time. But yeah, it's been really a staple of our work, and I know the whole team loves referring to it, and we try to feature it prominently wherever we can. So like I said, I really appreciate your contribution to that. And again, I think we should feel really good about kind of how accurate it is given the data we're using.
Yeah, that's really good to hear.
So,
Absolutely.
And you've been having quite an adventure since you graduated, right? So why don't you tell, I don't think Adam or Megan have heard, why are you in Oklahoma City today? What are you doing now?
Yeah, so I work for the Thunder now doing data analytics stuff this season for the coaching staff. The first year I was here, I did more of like the front office side of things. So long-term research about planning for team building. But now I'm sort of more focused on the day-to-day of our team and trying to figure out, based on the metrics, like what we're doing well, what we can do better, and just kind of am the voice for the data on the coaching staff, which is really fun. I'm really enjoying that experience.
Yeah, it's been a fun year, certainly for the team, right? I've been following them a little more closely than others, just because I know you're there, and it seems like things are on the upswing there.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of good young talent, and we'll just keep getting better. So
that's awesome. And so, are you doing a lot of predictive modeling, or is a lot of it more just kind of reviewing the data and kind of translating it for the coaches? You can do lots of different things.
The front office side was definitely a lot more sort of future focused predictive modeling. The coaching side is definitely more of like using some existing models that we have in place to kind of communicate what's going on the court. But I think as like I continue in this position and I get more used to things and more ideas, then they'll kind of be like in the off season, models I can build to sort of help with in-season analysis. But definitely in-season analysis is a lot of like past looking.
Yeah, leveraging your tools. Yeah, I will say one thing that was a big adjustment for me when we started Her Hoop Stats was I hadn't fully internalized. It's certainly a grind on all the women that play basketball year round, but the NBA, the sort of approach how people do work is there's this off season to do your R&D, and we don't really get that in women's basketball because we just jump right from college to WNBA and back again.
That's
so
true.
It's quite a thing. So I know the NBA season is a grind. I hope you're hanging in there, and you don't look too bleary-eyed. You look like you're still having fun.
I definitely have told people, like, because this is my first year traveling, so I've told a lot of people it's like a lifestyle change. It's quite an experience to be on the road, but it's been good.
That's good. Yeah, no, I think it's a fun part of working in basketball. Not something that I could do. The people that sort of do that their entire lives, I have no idea how, but it's definitely a great experience. You learn a lot, and you see kind of how basketball really works, I think, when you're that up close and personal with the team.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Okay, yeah, I was going to joke that they're after you, Zoe. Maybe our time is up. But,
right.
But I want to say thanks so much for coming on, and thanks again for everything you did. I'd love to have you having a little more free time to help us out, but it's great to have alumni here, and I know you're a little preoccupied doing other basketball work right now.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Thanks. Great to see you.
Thanks, Zoe.
Yeah, you too. All right. Bye.
Just looking at the chat, it's pretty funny. Dano said I owe Zoe a lot of drinks, and Calvin said Zoe made a lot of people a lot of money. So yeah, no, it's great work that she did, great predictive model. So no, kudos to her.
Indeed, and well deserving of her opportunity there with the Oklahoma City Thunder.
For sure. All right, so I've given more than enough time for people to get their answers in. So gonna move on to the answer phase here. The question in the category of AAU, this might be the toughest question in the game, one of the toughest. What school whose nickname was inspired by the airplanes that transported the team to away games starting in 1951 compiled a mind-boggling 131-game winning streak en route to 4 consecutive AAU national titles from 54 to 57? A few players got this. I'm impressed. The answer: the Wayland Baptist Flying Queens. Wayland Baptist Flying Queens.
It's a great picture, by the way.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, shout outs to the Flyest Hoopa.
Right.
Who else we got? And Ariel, 2 players who got that right. Well, that was definitely a very challenging question. So very well done for getting that correct. Yeah, and that I actually first learned about that their kind of story in the book Shattering the Glass, which is this comprehensive history of women's basketball. Fantastic book. Highly recommend it. Yeah, people watching have a chance to take a look at it. So, all right, it's now time for the mystery round. The mystery round category is advertisements. Let me move on here. So here are the instructions. The next slide is going to show 4 stills from ads featuring women's basketball players. For each image, your task is to name the company that ran the advertisement. So don't identify the player. I'm looking for the company that ran the advertisement. I'm going to give you guys about probably 4 to 5 minutes, maybe a little less. We'll see how people are doing in terms of getting their answers in. Give you that amount of time to submit all 4 answers at once. You get 2 points for each correct response, no points off for wrong answers. And just a quick note, the answering system won't allow you to submit any of your answers if they're blank. So please put something in for each answer, even if it's literally a question mark or I have no freaking clue. Just something in there so that you're able to submit through the system. All right. So here they are. Name the company that ran each ad. I'll give you guys like 4 to 5 minutes to get those answers in. Meanwhile, gonna throw it to Aaron for our next guest.
I think our next guest is still hopping on. So
cool.
I think you might be our next guest and our current guest.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Great. So yeah, this was fun. How many ads did you consider as you were doing this question?
Honestly, not a ton. I feel like I kind of wanted, I definitely wanted a range of time periods. So I feel like it's definitely heavily weighted toward the present, but there is one there that's a kind of a much older ad, definitely closer to the infancy of the WNBA. So.
Well, the good news, these are all in color, right? So you're not giving away.
Yes, yeah, for sure. But sorry, answers are rolling in. All right. Once again, looking for name the company that ran each ad. Do not tell me the player, if possible.
Cool. Yeah, there's some good ones. I don't think I'm giving too much away to say.
No, go for it.
I will say that. I might be giving a little bit away, so maybe I'll wait. But I like some of the modern ads that we're seeing. Let's just say that.
Yes.
Some of the modern ads that are not featured.
Agreed.
In your question. So
agreed.
But I wonder if I say it, it'll give it away.
Well, Phil's here, so
yeah, I can see that we have our next special guest. Thanks for hopping on, Phil. I really appreciate it. Can you hear us, sir?
I can. I've got multiple.
Oh yeah, you might need to close YouTube now or Twitter if you're watching that, so that it's not too much echo or unnecessary zoom. I made a reference to that the other day, and nobody got that reference. Adam, I don't know if you're old enough to get unnecessary zoom as a reference, right? If you go like this. No. Phil, do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, come on.
Sorry,
no offense, but we are both old enough to know that one.
That's the only reason you ever kept me around, because I'm older than you.
Hardly. You're looking very festive today, I see. Are those green antlers?
Those are green antlers.
Okay.
Yeah. Proper reindeer antlers. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you too. You two are coming from, we had Jacob on earlier, so this is kind of our core Iowa contingent. Very exciting. Both of you in Des Moines, the Des Moines area, greater Des Moines. Basketball hotbed, as we talked about earlier. So, Adam, how long are we going on this question? I don't want to keep you block you.
Yeah, no worries. Give people, the answers are coming in pretty quickly. Give people like 2 more minutes to get those answers in.
You can just interrupt us and we'll keep going.
Yeah, and I'm sending really quickly. I'm sending AK1, that player. I'm sending their answers back to them. I think they joined late and kind of missed the instructions. I'm not looking for the player. I am looking for the company feature that ran the ad. So I'm going to give you another chance to submit those answers again. So,
Adam, you have all kinds of power.
I
had no idea. Great. So Phil, yeah, it's great to have you. As I said, I think you said you were watching from the start. So it's fun to have both kind of current members of the team, but also some alumni. We just had Zoe on. You are someone that I think you are among the very first people that joined the team, if I remember correctly. I am an old man and my memory is hazy, but I think did we talk for the first time when I was driving out to Columbus for the Final Four? Does that sound right to you?
Yes, that's exactly right. You were driving to the Final Four in Columbus.
Yeah, no, I distinctly, a lot of things I forget, but I distinctly, I forget what highway. I mean, I guess I must have been on the Pennsylvania Turnpike or something. It was a long drive. I appreciate you helping me pass the time. And yeah, I just put out I remember I just put out a call for volunteers. I probably overestimated the interest, let's be honest, in her hoop stats from the start. So I was trying to think about how to, really do it sustainably. And that was the first time I put out a call for volunteers. I realized kind of transitioning to, at the time, I'm sure I described it as more of an open source project where we'd have a kind of distributed group of people all kind of doing what they can, what they're interested in. Of course, it wouldn't all just be programming, but, the way people kind of were, that's really when we kicked off the newsletter back when it was on Medium, if you remember that, before we translated to Substack, which was definitely another great idea. I think that came from the team to do that. So, so I think you must, I assume you saw the Twitter post and reached out because you were interested.
No, I wasn't on Twitter at the time.
What?
There was an article. I went back and looked for this. There was an article in the New York Times on March 18th, 2018.
Yes.
And I have a trivia question. Who was the player pictured in the photo at the top of that article?
Oh my goodness. I actually have, I think
that's cheating. That's cheating.
No, but I did make sure that I remember when that came out, I was super excited and bought a few. It's a little yellowing. So my wife probably is like, why do we still have this? You never look at it, to be honest. But, I could not tell you to be honest. Did you? You didn't remember? I'm sure.
No, I didn't. I didn't remember it all either. I was surprised because the caption said, "Here's a player." It kind of implied, "Here's a player you may not know, but advanced statistics show to be one of the most efficient offensive players in the country."
Yeah,
Sophie Cunningham.
Was it Sophie Cunningham?
Yeah, who's gone on to have a respectable W career. So that was kind of fun. I'm not a Sophie Cunningham fan, so I was like, but still.
Yeah, so you're not a Sophie Cunningham fan?
Not much.
she has. I'm sure she has some fans. I'm sure she's very polarizing, right? Some people love her,
right.
Some people less so. Let's just say so.
Yeah. So anyway, I'd read that article, and it looked like a fun, interesting thing. And I don't know how I found your email address, but I shot you an email, and then, like you said, we talked on the phone when you're on your way to Columbus.
Yeah. So that was a goof to be. In the New York Times profiled that year. That was definitely kind of a mini little highlight. It's all little kind of fun moments along the way. But yeah, it was. And so you, have been helping out, on the programming side. I think you were really kind of instrumental in kind of providing guidance and some of the work that we were doing and kind of getting the website up and running. We were dealing with, I forget, some slowness on the site and things like that. And someone who I really kind of leaned on for your sort of technical expertise and to kind of be an outside set of eyes for some of the code that I was working on. We did a few. Do you remember? I'm trying to remember what specific projects you worked on. Was it more general or anything you remember specifically?
It was just kind of general troubleshooting and walking through stuff with you and trying things out and lots of testing. I
Yes.
remember a lot of interactions like, hey, I'm about to put this up. Would you test it? Would you see if it works?
Yeah, that's one of the benefits, right, of having good programmers. They know how to break things in other people's programs. And so that's an essential thing. You know, every once in a while, we definitely release stuff with a bug. It happens to everybody. But, you know, I do take pride in sort of making sure that we're really kind of trying to make it bulletproof before it goes live. And then, yeah, I guess I'd been to the Final Four, but I think you were probably the first person on our team to go to a major women's basketball event besides that first Final Four. It's really the first time someone went to a major event without me, so which was an interesting experience because you went to the All-Star game, right, in 2018. It was in Minneapolis, right, at Target Center.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So
yep.
that must have been a ton of fun.
It was a ton of fun. It was great.
Do you have any specific memories from that off the top of your head? I didn't prep you to ask it.
My specific memory as a fan was that Allie Quigley. It was the first of her wins at the 3-point shooting contest, and it was amazing. It was great to have to be that close, have decent seats, and watch that. So that was great fun. The rest of the time, it was very interesting hanging out with journalists who were trying to make a career covering the W. So that was a little intimidating. I'm way out of my fish out of water in that realm. So, but it was very fun to do and meet some of those people. So
yeah, that's definitely a fun part of it, is getting to know all the folks. Hopefully some of them are watching today. Because I think ultimately we're all a community. Everyone's trying to kind of do their best to cover the game, to tell the stories, kind of play, we all have a role to play in it, right? I think at HerHoopStats we're doing a lot of different things between the website and the journalism side of things. But what I think is just important is there's just so much more coverage. It's gotten a lot better since you joined, I think, in terms of how much coverage we're seeing. But definitely I think there's still plenty of room for more and more, and so many people before we even launched HerHoopStats that have been grinding and are continuing to. Cool. So yeah, I'm trying to think, do you have any kind of other I feel like we've spent a lot of time on the phone, a lot of Google Meets, trading notes. I don't know if you have any kind of goofy thoughts or goofy memories about stuff that we've done together. I'm disappointed. You're one of the people that I have not yet met in person, unless I'm totally blanking, but I don't think that's the case.
No, we haven't. No, a lot of late night phone calls. You're always squeezing HerHoopStats in, work in late.
Yeah.
And we're an hour later here, so just lots of late night. I had terrible bandwidth for a while too, and so you were always we were always fighting video problems, trying to chat.
Yeah,
lots of fun though.
That's the joys of remote collaboration. But yeah, a lot of fond memories, right? I'm definitely very happy that you were a part of the team. Obviously you're and I appreciate, even though you're not working super actively now, that you still kind of hang around and are on our Slack a little bit and keeping us up to date on all things that are happening in the great state of Iowa.
I'm just a lurker these days. I appreciate you letting me hang.
No, it's great. And so, obviously you have an open invitation. So we've talked about it before, but thanks a lot. Say thanks to your wife. And, I know which game did you say you were at this weekend?
Drake versus Creighton.
Yeah.
In Omaha.
Right. Yeah. You definitely traveled all over the Midwest to watch basketball.
The model made Creighton a 14-point favorite, and Drake only lost to him by 4.
Yeah, I saw it was close. Didn't quite work out in your favor, but
Yep.
Yeah, and then that raised them up in our HerHoopStats rating as well, right, when they outperform.
Excellent.
So cool. Well, thanks a lot, and really thanks for everything. Because again, I find it energizing to work with everybody, and there's no doubt that, as opposed to doing something on my own, and there's no doubt that kind of all the conversation we've had is definitely highlighted my time on HerHoopStats. So thanks.
Thanks to you, man.
Cool.
See ya.
Yeah. Okay, Adam, we got our answers.
Yes, all our answers are in. All right, once again, the mystery round is in the category of advertisements. You are to name the company that ran each ad. Here are the answers. Number 1, that is Jonquel Jones saying, "Thanks, Boban. The company that ran that ad was State Farm. State Farm. Number 2, this is way back, like in 97-ish. It was a series of ads that featured like Cynthia Cooper, Tina Thompson, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops. It was like Little Rascals kind of theme or whatever. Anyway, the answer, Nike. Nike is what we're looking for there. Number 3, that is Paige Beckers in a recent Gatorade ad. And number 4, that is Chine Agumake in an ad for DoorDash. DoorDash. Kalia Copper's favorite app for getting food. Not. All right. So push those answers through. And we are at halftime. So let me reveal who the top 3 scorers are. I'll do top 5. Why not? We have in 5th place with 15 points, Dano Mataya. In 4th place with 18 points, the Flyest Hoopa. In 3rd place with 20 points, Calvin Wetzel. In 2nd place with 22 points, Mox, Jacob Mox. And in 1st place with 23 points, Ariel. Very well done.
Excellent. We have some ringers, so yeah, that might affect our awarding of the prizes. But we put a bunch of disclaimers out. But we'll
yes, for sure. All right. Well, we're gonna move it on.
Points, though. That's impressive.
Yeah, that's very impressive. No, those that first round was difficult, as you know. This the mystery round was a challenge as well. So very well done. All right. We're going to move it on to round 2. Round 2, you're going back to using the 1 through 8 wagers. You can only use the point values that you did not use in round number 1. All right. Question number 5 in the regular rounds in the category of NCAA upsets. Going all the way back to 1998 was the year of Cinderella, at least as far as the NCAA is concerned. Harvard became the first 16 seed to beat a number 1 seed when the Crimson knocked off Stanford. Sorry, Aaron. In that same tournament, what SEC team, a number 9 seed, became the lowest seed in NCAA history to reach the Final Four, and it's a record that still stands. All right. I'm going to give you guys like 90 seconds to get those answers in. Good luck.
Still stands today.
Indeed.
That's probably a good discussion for, we should be covering this more when the actual tournament rolls around. Who's your favorite 9 seed to make the Final Four?
For sure.
So Cindy, I see you joined us here. Thank you so much.
Hi, Aaron. Good to see you and Adam as well.
Yeah, great to see you, Cindy.
We got the folks in the background as well, lurking in the green room. So I think you've seen, right? We've been kind of talking to people. Do you remember when you first reached out? Like how I am blanking actually on how long you've been a part of the team, but it's been quite some time. I think you were definitely one of the early.
Yeah, at least since 2018. And I do remember seeing the Twitter, and I told my wife, I said, hey, this looks like fun. I'm going to try this. I'll probably be one of a million people that want to do it and at least qualify, but what the heck?
What did she say in response to that?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Did she roll her eyes and say, come on? Yeah. Or
yeah. And my first article was they had just announced that Minneapolis would be getting the Final Four in 2022. So that was
full circle.
First article covering the press conference.
Very cool.
That's right. And that's the first time we met in person, right? You were able to come up.
Yes, at that Final Four, right?
Yeah, you did a whole extravaganza because you're from there originally. That's definitely a contingency that we have as well, the Minnesota angle to things. So, and you're the reason that people will see so much Minnesota coverage. So, really, really appreciate it.
Yep.
All right, guys. Minnesota. Sorry, just to jump in, give you another 30 seconds to get those answers in. 30 seconds for question 5.
Yeah, I don't think we're quite good enough at the late night talk show thing to squeeze in a whole conversation in 30 seconds. Are you playing along, Cindy? How are you doing on these?
I'm not doing very well. I know in the last one I had 2 of the companies right, but on the wrong picture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would say I'm like super pro the new Nike ad, the video store. I don't know what the name of that campaign is, but I think that one's great. Mm-hmm. The whatever Blockbuster video style thing. No, you look skeptical, Adam.
Oh, me? No, I'm good. No, I mean, there are other ads I probably prefer,
Maybe.
more than that one,
But I
I
think
what's
it's
that?
really actually essential to the growth of women's basketball, right? Showing those ads, all these ads really kind of not just during women's basketball games, but just help exposure.
Oh, for sure. Oh, absolutely. No, it's great that, they're getting exposure. I just not the biggest fan of the ad itself. There are other ads I really love, but not that one.
I can say the first ad word for word, but I still got I didn't know who the company was. If you need anything else, I can reach it.
Exactly.
Someone said Home Depot, and it looks like a Home Depot, so I can
think they're in
definitely
a Home Depot.
Yeah. So that totally made sense, but unfortunately,
Lowe's is not happy. So what do we got here, Adam?
All right, last call for answers. 5 seconds, guys. I think I'm gonna get all the answers. I'm gonna get 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Question number 5 is the category of NCAA upsets. 1998 was the year of Cinderella. At least as far as the NCAA tournament is concerned, Harvard became the first 16 seed to beat a number 1 seed when the Crimson knocked off Stanford. Again, sorry, Aaron. In that same tournament, what SEC team, a number 9 seed, became the lowest seed in NCAA history to reach the Final Four, a record that still stands? Their head coach was actually Gary Blair. We were looking for Arkansas, and they actually defeated Harvard in the second round on their way to the Final Four. So yeah, about like half of you got that. So well done to those who managed to get Arkansas.
Never cease to be impressed by all of the people that follow her hoop stats.
Absolutely. All right. Going to keep it going with question 6, actually. It's in the category of films. What's the title of the documentary about Olympic silver medalist, 3-time national champion, NBA draftee, and overall basketball legend, Lucy Harris, that won the Academy Award for Best Documentary, short subject, at the 94th Academy Awards held in March of this year? All right, guys, you get 90 seconds to mull that one over. Best of luck.
You need a minute to answer that one, Cindy, or can you talk to me while
I watched it and I can't answer it.
well, maybe it'll come to you. So, but yeah, no. So you've done a ton of live tweeting for us, and covered Minnesota a lot. I know I've been asking people what are some of their kind of fun, kind of crazy memories from being part of the Herbstats team. I know you have a pretty funny story, right?
Right. So I've been regularly covering the Big Ten tournament kind of since I started with her Hoop Stats, and in 2020, I had a good, amazing encounter with Lindsay Whalen. And actually, like 10 years earlier, something with Lindsay Whalen may have inspired me to join her Hoop Stats. I entered a live auction and online auction, and the prize was interview Lindsay Whalen after a game in the locker room, and I got it. So
I don't think I've heard you tell that story before. I'm not sure I knew that one.
Yeah, I just kind of remembered it. And then it got published on WNBA.com and everything. And so 10 years later, I'm like, yeah, I did that once. I could probably do it again. And
very nice.
Here we are. So in 2020, I was at the Big Ten tournament in Indianapolis, and the Gophers had just lost their last game to Ohio State. And it was just Lindsay. I don't think she had any players, and just me and the Star Tribune reporter. So we had our little talk about the game, and then we went our separate ways. But Lindsay and I ended up in the same restroom. And then as we were washing hands afterwards at the same time, and if you remember 2020, something called COVID came along.
Heard of it?
And it was so weird at the tournament because, there's sanitizer everywhere. No one was wearing masks. We're like, I don't know what this is, but she's like, now make sure you wash thoroughly. She had her team in.
Oh, no. Is she keeping us in suspense? Usually it's me. Phil was talking about internet challenges, but I guess not. So, yeah, I guess that's true. Right? The Big Ten tournament, that must have been right before. We lost you there for a second, Sydney. So yeah, that was right. I guess the Big Ten tournament was one of the last tournaments, right? The weekend before the world shut down.
The tournament started the next day, and they quit like right in the middle of games.
Got it. So I think we lost you. You said you were washing your hands.
Washing our hands, and she said, "Make sure you do it thoroughly."
Yeah.
and her team had just lost, and she just has that sense of humor, And at the time, they told you to sing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star"
Oh, right.
to annoy. So I sang that and walked to it, and then she said, "I think you're speeding up a little. Slow down. We got to get this in."
Always a coach, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm sure anyone who's encountered Lindsay has an experience like that. I also did this one of a kind I've never seen before, since she did a basketball camp for adults.
Oh.
So they do them for kids all the time. So my wife and I went. She was there like for 4 hours. We ate lunch with her. We did a scrimmage. Just crazy.
What position did you play?
I guess I played guard. She gave me a pass. I was wide open and I didn't make the shot.
Moment of glory. Moment of glory. That's cool. That's a ton of fun. Yeah, you are someone that I think has had a lot of fun experiences. You've gone to the Big Ten. How many times have you gone to the Big Ten tournament?
Ever since I started here, I've always
amazing.
Watched it on TV for probably 20 years. But I go regularly. And it's in Minneapolis this year, so I'll be back again.
Oh, it's going to be there. I think is it going to be there for a couple years? Am I remembering that correctly?
2 years for sure. They've scheduled.
That's great. Some people complained about that, but definitely not you.
Nope.
Yeah, and you've relocated, right? You have gone to sunnier climes, warmer climes.
My top secret location is New Mexico. So sunnier climes. Season tickets to the Aggies, NM State Aggies. But
that's cool. That's exciting. So well, like I said, I really appreciate all you've done. I appreciate your wife. I know that you sort of made you made a deal with her that you'd probably spend more time covering games live for the WNBA.
The Lynx.
Historically, had been because you've been season ticket holders for the Golden Gophers for quite some time. I thought, right?
It was the Lynx that I had the season.
Oh, okay, yeah. So maybe I had more time for the Gophers. That's what it was. So, but like I said, you were definitely kind of one of our early adopters, early team members, and I really appreciate having you and your presence. Sort of both covering the teams and just sort of being a part of our group on Slack and everything.
Yeah, the group is amazing. You're amazing, and I'm really glad I did it.
Yeah, well, we're really glad to have you. Thanks so much for hopping on, Cindy. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Cindy. Take care.
You too, Adam.
Bye. All right. Question number 6. So this is in the category of films. What's the title of the documentary about Olympic silver medalist, 3-time national champion, NBA draftee, and basketball legend Lucia Lucy Harris that won the Oscar for Best Documentary Short Subject at the 94th Academy Awards held in March of this past year? That was a really great short film. The Queen of Basketball. The Queen of Basketball. Executive produced by Shaq and Steph Curry. Directed by Ben Proudfoot. So, so well done. Decent number of players got that. So, very, very strong effort there. Let's keep the momentum going. With Q7, it's in the category of NCAA firsts. In 2021, I guess technically last calendar year, 2 Patriot League teams faced off in what was believed to be the first father-daughter coaching matchup in D1 history. That is, the father was the head coach of one team, and the daughter was the head coach of the other team. One of the teams was Army. Name the other team. Looking for the team here. All right, give you guys 90 seconds to mull that over. Good luck.
I think this is a stumper. I'll be interested to hear what was the hardest question. Are you gonna be able to tell us that at the end?
Not right away, unfortunately. Okay. No. Anecdotally, based on I guess anecdotally, but not like officially.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see. I mean, our audience never ceases to amaze me, but I thought this was a hard one. I think you've tweaked it right since I saw the preview, but I predicted.
What's that?
I predict it's still hard.
No, for sure. I think originally I didn't include the conference, which that would have been, I think, pretty darn difficult. But hopefully, Patriot League gives people a fighting chance here. So.
Gotcha. I think I see someone guessing in the comments. I'll ask people not to do that. I can't tell if that's a joke or if that's because it would be amazing if it was in fact Navy, right? But in general, try to have people kind of use the website that's in the upper right there, playquiz.live, and enter that code, and then you'll be able to answer it. And Adam will be able to see your answers coming in.
Absolutely. I'll give you guys another 30 seconds. 30 seconds to get those answers in.
Yeah. And I see Calvin's joined us. Great to have you, Calvin Wetzel. Almost, you're virtually the host of a podcast. You're on many of our podcasts. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me on.
Our pleasure. So yeah, you got to meet virtually Zoe there. Definitely, if well, I guess the Thunder aren't coming to downstate Illinois anytime soon. But if you overlap, you and Dano definitely owe her some drinks. That is for sure.
Quite a few. Yeah.
So yeah. So for those of you that don't know, Calvin really, I think, is the one that's really kind of pushed us to launch Spread the Floor, which we launched at the beginning of the season this year. I think over time, right, you sort of got more interested in gambling as you were starting to use our site, and then you were like, hey, this is pretty good. Like, but we should think about kind of expanding how much we emphasize it. I really appreciate that. I think it's yet another example of kind of the team pushing us to kind of do more things collectively.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a great use of the model, obviously. And it's been fun working with Dano. Shout out to Dano. I see you in the comments here.
I see him in the comments. Am I allowed to make a comment that I don't know who texts in all caps more often, Dano or my mother?
Oh god.
So we love Dano. Dano, instrumental part of our team and tons of energy, as is very clear in the comments. I think it's
Dano's
pretty good.
The real MVP.
Exactly.
Oh,
cool.
God.
Okay, Adam, can you gather yourself and reveal?
Oh no, that's Dano. That's outstanding there. All right. Moving on, question number 7 is in the category of NCAA first. In 2021, 2 Patriot League teams faced off and was believed to be the first father-daughter coaching matchup in D1 history. One of the teams was Army. Name the other team. Well, the coaches in question were Dave and Maureen McGarity. The other team we were looking for was Holy Cross. Holy Cross. And let's see here.
That's a great
yeah,
picture.
A few teams. What's that?
I love that picture of them.
Yeah, that is very like peak pandemic. Yeah, it was like early 2021. So yeah, it was,
I hope they recreate that over the holidays this year.
Oh gosh!
Can you imagine getting that as their family Christmas card?
Yeah, honestly, slightly less than half teams got that, like probably 40-ish%. So yeah, that's very solid work, everyone. Well done.
Did you get that one, Calvin?
I did not.
Would you have guessed that 40% of the people could do it? That's amazing.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trusting that they're not cheating, but
you know who would have gotten it though is Gabe, because in addition to our Miami guy, Gabe is also our Pat League guy. Gabe knows the Pat League.
Really? I didn't know
He
that.
does.
Okay.
He's a big Pat League guy. Shout out. I don't know if Gabe's not on here. He should be.
I think Gabe
he would have known, I'm sure.
Yeah. Gabe, a little, I think, unavailable today. Let's just say I don't want to reveal anything on his behalf, but I think Gabe will. Hopefully, Gabe's following along, and if not, I'm sure I'll catch up on it and certainly hear that we shouted him out. So yeah. So Calvin, do you remember like how long? I feel like you've been on this team forever. I think were you on the team pre-pandemic? I'm pretty sure.
I was. Yeah, it was like the start of WNBA season 2019 when I started, like April, May of that year. It's been quite a while.
And am I going to find out that you two did not respond to a Twitter post, but just kind of reached out on your own?
No, I did respond to a Twitter post. KenPom retweeted you guys, and I saw it, and I emailed or whatever, and we talked on the phone, and that was it.
You went through a rigorous interview process.
I did. I jumped through all the hoops that you set up for me. I did the whole thing.
Yeah, didn't make
somehow
you,
made it.
Made you bet for a weekend and saw your results, and that's fine. Yeah, no, Ken Pomeroy has been a great supporter of our work. Obviously, he's a little preoccupied with his amazing coverage of the men's game, but certainly an inspiration for what we do here.
Yeah, no, I had actually never placed a sports bet in my life at that time. That started after.
Well, it was harder to do it back then. That's for sure. So yeah, you've done a lot of different things, right? You've written you did a lot of writing. I think you're doing a little less writing these days, right? But you were doing a ton of it early on, I remember.
Yeah, I think I started out doing mostly just articles, and I know done some videos and stuff like that. I don't really know like what my sweet spot keeps changing. So I don't know, whatever I'm feeling, that's what I do.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. I think you're someone that you promised me you're going to stay with Spread the Floor for a while, and I know that's pretty important to our subscribers. But yeah, I think a lot of people on our team, it kind of evolves over time, and I think that's one of the things that's fun, right? One of the things that I always tell people when they reach out and we're considering having me on the team is like, I want to have people doing the work that's interesting to them, right? Unfortunately, working in women's basketball is not the most lucrative of choices as far as time. That is maybe if you're not actually gambling like you do. But as a result, I want to make sure people are doing stuff that they're fired up about, really excited, and, feel like they're finding rewarding. So, I think it's totally fun when people are kind of evolving a little bit, and hopefully you feel like it's been rewarding your time on the team.
Yeah, definitely. I've enjoyed a lot of stuff I've done. Everything like as it's changed, it's still always been, stuff that I felt good about. So I've always appreciated
that's
that.
Awesome. And I think it's really been interesting, right? Because I feel like, so you're what's the name of your town again? You're basically right by Illinois State, right?
My town is called Normal, Illinois.
Right.
I live walking distance from Illinois State. The 2022 Missouri Valley champions, Illinois State.
We should point that. Are they going to be the 2023 Missouri Valley champions, you think? You calling your shot?
We'll see. I hope. I don't think I see Jacob in the comments. I know his team's going to have something to say about that, but we'll find out.
Yeah, that is true. It'll be a good, exciting season for the MVC this year. And I think you probably, and Jacob in particular, are kind of our most pro mid-major small school people on the team. I don't think I'm shorting anyone in saying that. You're definitely very strong on that, though.
Yeah, no, I know we both love mid-major basketball. Dano loves mid-major basketball too. I know, because mid-major basketball can make you money. So
exactly. I guess that's also a good time, right, to promote that you and Jacob are going to be doing a playback, I think on Friday, right? That's going to be our first sort of mid-major game of the week. So that'll be fun. People want to watch that game and kind of hear you guys hang out for a little longer than we had John today.
Yeah, Murray State's playing Kentucky. Murray State blew a 22-2 lead today and lost. So Jacob, I really hope that doesn't happen. Although if they got up 20-22 on Kentucky, that'd be pretty sick still. So
if they blew it in the last minute, it'll still be good television. That's for sure.
It would be. No, it was in the first quarter, but I don't know.
Well, they didn't blow it in the first quarter, did they?
No, they had it in the first quarter.
That's what I'm saying. If they could kind of hang on and kind of make it, compelling at the end, then the broadcasters will be happy either way. So you've done a lot. I was trying to think about it. I feel like you've kind of expanded your kind of basketball footprint, your travels over time. When was like the first time you really started like traveling to cover anything for us, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, it was like, so the first year I was like with you guys, I was like getting my feet wet. And
with us, not with you guys. Come on, man.
With us. Sure. Whatever. It was like, I mean, it was all volunteer too at that point.
Yep.
And I was still just like pretty new in the space. So I didn't really travel around too much. Just went to Illinois State games locally.
Right.
And then the year after that was the pandemic, and there was like, you couldn't travel anywhere and go to any games anywhere. So it was really like the third year where I started traveling around a lot. And I mean, like I went to Oregon for Oregon UConn because I have a buddy out there. I just went to Vegas a couple weeks ago for Illinois State's tournament, but I saw like they had 3 tournaments out there. I saw Indiana play at their little like ballroom that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Watched Fordham versus Washington at a different tournament. So yeah, now that I feel like I'm kind of like I've been in this space for a little while and have more of an ability to travel, I love going to like as many games as I can anywhere. It's all just in-person basketball is so fun. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I feel like I don't know where you'd put the Final Four this past year, whether that was sort of like, hey, I could start doing this. And I know that was it seemed like it was a pretty eye-opening experience from watching you, just sort of all the coaches were around, all the kind of scouting you could do, all the people you could meet.
Yeah, no, that was huge. That was, I mean, my first Final Four, and it was like, I mean, the basketball was cool, but it was about so much more than the basketball. It was about like the connections and relationships there and just meeting all sorts of people. And we had a great time. So I sign me up for every Final Four for the rest of my life, I would say.
Yeah, no, it was a great experience. I'm sure some of the stories you probably can't tell on
No.
here today, but let's just say it didn't seem like you got that much sleep. Fair to say.
You're that's accurate. Yeah, I'll give you that.
But we did endure. I mean, certainly, right? We I think we recorded a podcast basically just about every night, right? Very
at
late
least
at
night.
We
double dipped
oh
a
yeah,
couple
right.
days.
There was like I think one time, you and Megan maybe did one, and then I don't know, Gabe and I forget who it was. So I'm looking forward to us kind of being able to bring that kind of volume of coverage this upcoming year. But I felt like from there you're like, now you're spending weeks at a time in Vegas. I was a little worried you weren't going to make it home. You were just going to decide you're going to move there.
I did unfortunately make it home. It would have been cool to stay out there, but
have you booked your return flight?
Not yet. We'll see. I know that March is when the next big, like, Vegas is always such a cool spot for neutral site basketball, which is like in terms of college, it's November with the Thanksgiving tournaments, and it's March with like I think 3 or 4 different conferences have their conference tournament out there. So
and then
that would be the other fun time to go. But
this is when Debbie Antonelli says Sweet 16 to Vegas. You're probably equally pro that move, right? So
definitely, it's a great spot for basketball. It's such a fun city. Obviously,
you can be her partner in crime and promoting that for sure.
Oh, I would love that. I got you, Debbie. I'm on board, Team Debbie.
Absolutely, we all are. She's been an amazing supporter of us here at Herb Stats, really from the start. I mean, she's someone that really values advanced stats, and especially because she's worked both kind of in the women's and the men's game, right? So I think that she kind of recognized immediately, like, hey, I think she'd been kind of hoping that someone would fill this void. I always like to say that, I'd like to think that some of the interest, it's always exciting when we get shouted out on ESPN or something. And I'd like to say that a lot of that has to do with the great work we're doing. I think a lot of it just speaks to the need. I'm always, at some level, I'm kind of amazed that there hadn't really been a site quite like what we're doing when we launched in 2017. But people like Debbie, sort of immediately understood how kind of having these advanced stats can help kind of enhance the stories that everyone can tell about women's basketball.
No, I should have worn my Antonelli basketball shirt. I dropped the ball on that one. But you're a trailblazer, Aaron. Look at you making this new website that didn't exist before. You're a pioneer.
Something like that. Well, like I say, right, I can't do it, without you and the rest of the team. So really, really appreciate all the time you put in. Like you said, everybody started out as a volunteer. We've transitioned to, as I say, paying people an embarrassingly small sum of money for their time. The dream is that we'll be in a position where, people can sort of be fairly compensated for the time that they're putting in. But we're all doing this because everybody on the Hoop Stats team does it because we love it and we're committed to the game. And I know I appreciate it, and also I think everybody that I talk to, sort of all of our subscribers, kind of coaches, SIDs, even players and family members. It's always fun to kind of recognize a distinctive last name from a player and see them commenting on our work or just subscribing to the stats site. So thanks so much for all you do, Calvin. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's always fun.
Thanks, Calvin.
Awesome,
Take care.
See you guys.
See ya. All right. Let's move it on to question number 8. Question number 8 is in the category of WNBA All-Star Games. The 2022 WNBA All-Star Game featured several memorable moments. Sylvia Fowles' dunk, both teams wearing number 42 jerseys in honor of Brittany Griner. Kelsey Plum's tiny MVP trophy, and the introduction of a 4-point shot. Circles from which players could score 4 points on a single shot. Plum, Candace Parker, Sabrina Ionescu, and what other player knocked down at least one 4-pointer in the game?
This is a good question. I was there. I gotta say, I do not remember. If anything, I was there actually with Calvin, and Dano and Ice were there as well, who are, our host, our Dice It Up podcast. I don't think I'm speaking too out of turn. I remember the missed 4-pointers more than the 4-pointers.
I almost included that in the question, but it resulted in some, let's say, ill-advised attempts from long distance. I mean, if I saw a 4-point shot, like, you don't get to do that every day, so why not have at it? But
it was still fun. I will say I felt good. I remember we were debating whether the All-Star game, I think probably in the context of an over-under, whether it'd be higher or lower because of the 4-point shot. And I think I was personally, I think I might have been correct that I was personally skeptical that the as amazing as the players were, the 3-point percentage on this, or the 4-point percentage would be pretty high. But it was fun. I wonder if it's going to be more effective if they keep doing it. Right now, they played a game. It's like going to be novel, but at least a little bit familiar. But then, they always vary it, right? There was the first All-Star game that I covered. That one was in Vegas.
Right.
And they did the like hockey style running substitutions. You could basically just kind of run on the court.
Changing on the fly, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which I don't think you could do this year, right? So it'll be interesting to see if some of these kind of fun little aspects of it kind of stick.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, it's obviously, great basketball and, some of the best players in the world, but it adds a little something extra. It keeps it, keeps it interesting. It's already interesting, but it makes it a little more interesting. So
absolutely. How much more time? I see Jen just joined.
Yeah.
Give folks your quick little countdown, or what do you want to do?
Yeah. I'll give you guys 30 more seconds, 30 seconds to get those answers in.
Great. Well, welcome, Jen. As I was saying, it's good to have a special guest from the East Coast. Like I said, we've been kind of more central in Mountain Time Zone, which has actually been kind of fun.
Thanks for having me. Glad I get welcomed back, even though I haven't contributed in a while.
Well, that's okay, right? Definitely kind of a fun part of this is kind of reflect, you're here representing some of the alumni. Like I said, I wish we could add time to have everybody on today because, I'm grateful for everybody, but, really thought it'd be fun to have you on and kind of reminisce as well. So looking forward to chatting with you a little bit. But I feel like Adam's I don't know if he's going to give me an evil eye or just kind of start down, but I'm guessing the 30-second timer.
I have last call. I'll give you guys 10 more seconds, 10 seconds to get those answers in. There we go. I think we've got them all here.
You think you know this one, Jen?
I don't know this one. I like have a guess if I was submitting one and needed to throw an answer in, but I'm not confident in it. No.
Is it Washington Mystics centric?
It's not actually. If it's a Mystics player, I'll be kind of annoyed, seeing as that's fine. But I don't think it was.
All right. Well, let's find out together. Question number 8. It's in the category of WNBA All-Star Games. The 2022 WNBA All-Star Game featured several memorable moments, including the introduction of a 4-point shot, Plum, CP3, Sabrina Ionescu, and what other player knocked down at least one 4-pointer in the game? The answer, you actually just saw her in that State Farm ad, Jonquel Jones. Jonquel
All right,
Jones.
That was going to be my guess, so I will that as a
I would have missed that. No disrespect for Jonquel Jones that Connecticut Sun on this podcast.
Very nice. All right, so let me just get the mystery round set up, and then I'll throw to you guys. So, mystery round number 2. It's in the category.
What are we looking at here?
That's it's a wrestler. It's
okay.
It's a thing he did. Anyway, it's complete the list is the category. There are going to be 4 of these. For each one you get right, you get 2 points. No points off for wrong answers. And just like mystery round number 1, you're going to submit all of your answers at once. Give you guys like 4-ish minutes to get those answers in. And here we go. So the following 4 slides are going to have a list of items pertaining to college or WNBA basketball, obviously, but with one item missing. Your task is to provide the answer that completes the list. That's simple. Go through these really quickly.
Points.
Yes, 2 points apiece. Number 1, complete this list of countries that finished in the top 4 at the 2022 FIBA World Cup. First place US, second place China, 4th place Canada. Basically, we're just asking who came in 3rd place at the most recent FIBA World Cup. Number 2, complete this list of NCAA players with a 60-point game. And obviously, that's since 1982. We have Ayoka Lee, Cindy Brown, and who is that 3rd 60-point scorer? Number 3, from 2012-13 through 2015-16, UConn won 4 consecutive national titles, much to the delight of Megan Gower, and lost a total of 5 games. Complete this list of teams who defeated UConn during that time period: Stanford, Baylor, and one other team. And number 4, complete this list. This is a really tough one. Complete this list of players who have won an Olympic gold medal and a WNBA title in the same calendar year. We have Tamika Catchings, Katie Smith, Cheryl Swoops, Sue Bird, and who else?
It's good company.
Indeed. All right. There are the 4 questions. I don't have the images, but that's the crux of it. Giving you guys like 4 or 5 minutes to get those answers in. Good luck. Aaron, all yours.
Jen, do you think you got a chance at any of these or no?
I have a couple guesses for them.
Okay, keep us in
I'm not
suspense
like
then.
I'm not as confident as I was in the question that surprisingly featured my alma mater and the question that featured families, which is like one of my favorite feats ever. So thank you, Adam. You've made my night with both of those.
Of course.
I think you wrote a few of those for us too, as part of your portfolio before kind of moving on more to the next. How many family pieces have you counted? Like how many you actually I think might have a spreadsheet of this. I don't know if you categorize them. How many like family style pieces do you think you've written?
I do have a spreadsheet. They aren't categorized, so I don't have like a firm number for you. Probably 20-ish.
Yeah, I mean, I would have guessed it was that. It's pretty impressive. So yeah, you've got a lot of different things that you've done. I was trying to think, when do you remember when you joined? Was it
that, it was the summer of 2018.
Right. So that first WNBA season. So yeah, there was a lot of interest at that time. And but you were kind of one of the core people that kind of did great work, stuck around. You were sort of really instrumental in helping kind of set the tone for Her Hoop Stats and getting us to where we are today. I think that I always marveled at your ability to write so much and write so well along the way, and also help with the editing. And I think a lot of other people definitely commented that to me on the team as well. So really appreciate all you've done to help us get where we are today.
That's nice of you to say. It's really nice to see everyone. It's awesome that so many folks are still around from when I was with you all. And I just saw Megan last week in Connecticut. I saw Calvin earlier this season. We've known each other for like 4 years, and this is the first time we've seen each other in person. So that was fun. So always good to see everybody both virtually and in person.
Yeah. I was hoping that if Princeton had made it to the Final Four, would in your kind of Ivy League coverage responsibilities, would you have been able to join us in Minneapolis? Or we got to root for that next year.
I mean, I'll probably come next year. Like it's on my radar. I have flight alerts set up. The only reason I didn't come last year to the Final Four, even though none of my teams were in it, was just because with the WNBA season starting so early, COVID being a concern, my options were go on vacation or go on vacation to see my family or go to the Final Four. And sorry, I picked my family over you all.
Yeah,
but this year with the WNBA having a more normal schedule, I can do both. So
excellent. Yeah. Some people might criticize you for choosing your family over basketball, but I will not.
Got to do it at least some of the time, right? Can't neglect them completely.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, do you have any kind of funny memories of your time on the team? I'm trying to think. We've definitely had a lot of conversations. We were talking quite a lot at different times along the way. I remember spending a lot of fun time with you on the phone.
That's a good question. Funny memories. What have we said so far? Like I'm trying to jog my memory here a little bit.
I don't know. Well, I guess not in the funny category, but I do remember one thing, right? I remember when the first time you covered the Mystics, right, in the WNBA finals, right? That was
I went to a game or two in the regular season because I joined like pretty late in the regular season. But yeah, then I kind of like hit the ground running with the playoffs, and they went to the finals, and I was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. So you were able to cover a finals game in your first kind of few months, right, of covering the WNBA.
Yep.
So, and that was that game. That was when the Mystics had to play in a lot of different locations. Am I making that up?
Yes. Yep.
How many different arenas do you think you went to that year for Mystics?
3. So they played their regular season at Capital One, which is not their home anymore, but that's where the Wizards play for folks who know DC. But then they played their playoff games at George Washington University, which was actually super great for me, very convenient. And then the finals out at George Mason, which was not super great or convenient because it's pretty far in the burbs for folks who aren't familiar with DC. So I think 3, unless I'm forgetting one.
Yeah, and then I think was that the year? Or was that not the year? Didn't we had a huge quorum, or was it the next year of folks that covered one of the finals games?
That was that was in 2019 when the Mystics won the title because we were all down at ESA,
right?
Because they'd made the move.
Yeah, I remember you guys took a photo of everybody on the court.
Yeah, there were like 5 of us. We had like a full starting lineup.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that's the most people we've ever had credentialed for a single event for sure. I was jealous that I couldn't make it down myself.
Yeah, it was definitely a fun night. And then after they won the title, I got to go back to ESA the next day for their they never had a parade. They still haven't had a parade, which is a sore subject with Mystics fans still. But they did have they called it a rally, I think, with the players and season ticket holders. And so I did get to go back for that, which was pretty fun. The highlight of that was probably seeing Mike Thibault swag surfing with the rest of the team.
Right. I remember you were telling us about that. Yeah, I guess is that kind of sort of one of your most fun moments, kind of covering women's basketball since you originally reached out to me?
Oh gosh, I've had so many over the years. It's crazy to think how long I've been covering women's basketball now, and that was never a thing that I was even aware I could do growing up. But I've gotten to do so many things. Honestly, in the past. What is today? Today's Tuesday. In the past week, I've gone to 2 new arenas that I had never been to before in person. I went to Gampel Pavilion to cover Princeton at UConn, which was amazing, kind of a bucket list thing. And then this past Sunday, I was at UConn, Maryland, up at the Xfinity Center in College Park, which folks are like, wait, you live in DC and you haven't been up there yet, but it's actually a decent haul from where I live in Virginia without a car. So I finally made it up that way and got to see that game, which was pretty fun. So
that was a pretty good game. And the UConn Princeton game, got kind of close at the end and was
a
lot of fun.
Honestly, I don't know if Megan would agree, but for me, it was the weirdest switch from a kind of starting to get boring and predictable game in the second and third quarters. And then in the fourth, a switch flipped and it was you are glued to your television or the action. I've never seen a game turn on its head that quickly in terms of just how much you have to how much, what's the word? Anticipation there is. Mm-hmm. That's not the word, but
tension maybe.
So
cool.
Yeah, it was a wild game, and it being Carla Berube's homecoming at UConn was just that was the angle that I was kind of a sucker for. So that added icing on the cake there.
Yeah, I remember you guys had talked about it on the preview podcast that you did before that, and how you think there should be much more of that because it's sort of not unlike the game you saw Calvin at the.
Yes.
Notre Dame Cal game, right, too, where they went to St. Louis. So, yeah, as not a UConn fan, what was it like to be in Gampel? Were you impressed by the crowd and everything?
I really enjoyed, I kind of walked in and I just felt kind of this sense of not quite awe, but reverence kind of for where I was. I knew I was someplace special. From a fan perspective, it was interesting, just there were a lot of older people there, and I was not totally expecting that. But I actually last year I went to a game at Florida Gulf Coast, and so it was kind of like that. But in both cases, old people can be extremely engaged and also extremely loud. So I'm here for it. But yeah, it was just funny. I was this is a little bit different. It was a little bit slow to fill in, and I was how are we doing here? But then it got bigger and the crowd got really into it by the end. And it was a fun experience.
Well, when you talk about old people, I don't know if you're talking about people my age or older, but
older,
I can
way older.
That's reassuring to know. So that's cool. Yeah, no, I think, and I'm trying to think, we've got together in person. We've met up. Definitely, I remember one time getting coffee with you in New York, but I feel like there might have been 1 or 2 other times, or am I totally making that up? It's that's been a long time.
It has been a long time. Yeah, I know we met in New York that one time.
Yeah, that was pre-COVID.
Yeah, I think we'd met before then at some point, but see you at Columbia Princeton in January, right?
I'm hoping so. I know you had highlighted that that's going to be
January 6th.
Is it? Oh, right. It's January 6th.
It's January 6th.
Is it going to be the game of the year? Probably for the Ivy. So that's going to be a good one, right? Columbia is very impressive this year, right?
Columbia looks fantastic. They just kind of knocked the socks off of UMass this weekend. They got their
Right.
first ever votes in the AP poll this week, which are very well deserved. They look great. For them, I mean, if the NCAA tournament started tomorrow, they'd be in great shape to like do well in it. They're like, they got all their pieces together. Their chemistry looks great. They're flowing. Like, they're good.
Yeah, exactly. I think that let's just hope that they're able to sustain it or even kind of raise their game before the tournament, because it'd be a great story if they could make a little run, much like Princeton did last year. So yeah, so hopefully I'm still working on my schedule as always, but it would definitely be a lot of fun to get out to that game and more importantly, to see you. So
Well, if you can't make it, there's always the rematch in New York because I'll be there too. So.
Exactly. Well, thanks so much for coming on. And like I said, thank you so much for all you've done for our team. I think you everybody who worked with you has a lot of fond memories. And like I said, I think you helped really put us on a path to success. We definitely wouldn't be where we are without you. So thanks so much.
Yeah, well, I feel like I should say what I was texting you, which is before I hopped on, I was actually pulling stats from her hoop stats for something I'm working on, which just felt like super. I didn't plan it that way, but it felt very fitting. So thanks for such a great resource.
I appreciate that. I know you're definitely one of our power users, and we see you tweeting our stats, tweeting stats from our site all the time. So really, really appreciate it.
Finally getting the hang of the research tool.
Exactly. We got big plans, more coming. I know there's a lot of requests for other features, so someday. I know I say that a lot, but one of my other cliches, right? Time is our most precious resource, so it's really just all about kind of making sure that we have the time to do it. So thanks so much for all you do and for still supporting us today.
You bet.
Thanks, Jen. Take care.
Okay.
All right.
Maybe that was more than 4 minutes. I apologize, but
I'll give people a little more time to mull it over. No worries. We do have all our answers in, so let's go through them. All right. Question 1. Complete this list of countries to have won. Sorry, that is not what that should say. Wait. Sorry. No worries. That was the old question. My mistake. So we're looking for the third place team. That was correct on the first slide. So everyone answered the correct question. Answer we're looking for is the host nation, Australia. Yes. Lauren Jackson, I believe, had 30 points in the bronze medal game. So
unbelievable. She's unbelievable.
Just the ageless wonder. Very well done. All right. Q2. This one's right. Complete this list of NCAA players with a 60-point game since 1982.
I think Cindy got this one.
She definitely got this one. Spoiler alert. Ayoka Lee, Cindy Brown, and yes, it is Rachel Banham. As Dano said, Rachel Banham, the GOAT. All right, moving on to Q3. From the 12-13 through 15-16 seasons, UConn won 4 straight national titles and lost a total of 5 games. Complete this list of teams who defeated UConn during this time period. Stanford beat them once. Baylor beat them once. Notre Dame beat them 3 times. I believe it was all during the 12-13 season. They beat them twice during the regular season, once in the Big East title game. But UConn got them in the NCAA tournament, so got them when it counted. All right. Then lastly, question 4. Complete this list of players who have won an Olympic gold medal and a WNBA title in the same calendar year. Catchings, Smith, Swoops, Bird, and this is a tricky one. Looking at this, one person got this. Well done, the flyest hoopa. The answer, Steph Dolson. She won the 3-on-3 gold in 2021 and won a WNBA title with the Chicago Sky.
A little trick question, but we'll.
A little tricky, but it's an Olympic gold. You know,
it is completely true. It is completely true.
Very true. So, all right, pushing those answers through, and it is now time for the final question. The way this is going to work is you can wager any point value from 0 up to 15 of the points that you have earned so far. And to help you decide what to wager, I'm going to give you the category, which as you see is the W25, the list of the 25 best and most influential players of all time. And so there's the category. And I'm going to show you the standings You should be able to see them on your devices.
Okay.
I am just going to read the. I'll go with the top 5 here. We have with 31 points in 5th place, Nui White. In 4th place with 35 points, Calvin Wetzel. In 3rd place with 36 points, Dano Mataya. In 2nd place with 37 points, Mox. And in 1st place with 45 points, the Flyest Hoopa.
He's made his run. Now we're sure that's not Coach Mox who's on the trivia with us or not.
What's that?
We think that's we think that's Jacob, not Coach Mox.
I think it's Jacob, but
you never know. You never know.
Yeah. We'll see. But anyway, so guys, I'm going to give you a minute to submit your wagers. You've got, and also again, top 3 players that are non-Her Hoop Statsers will be getting prizes. The prizes that I mentioned at the top of the show. So you've got the category, you've got the standings. It's now time for you to wager. You got a minute to do that?
See you Final Jeopardy style here.
It is, yeah. It's akin to Final Jeopardy. You just can't wager all of your points. It's up to 15. So
very exciting.
The W25.
I will say I have seen this question. I think it's quite good. Unless you changed it on me, but
no. No, this one stayed the same. So yeah. No, this has been great. It's been awesome to see all the Her Hoop Statsers, past and present, come in and talk about their experiences. Honestly, like it's cool because some of these people, like Phil and I guess Jen, to an extent, like I've corresponded with on like our Slack channel, but I've never even really corresponded with them or seen them on a thing like this. So it's been a cool experience.
It has, and you've been doing a great job hosting. So I really love all the trivia you're doing. Like I said, this is a great question. So are we ready to reveal it?
Not quite. Still looking for a couple wagers here. Dano, looking at you, Dano. And a couple other teams, but yeah.
He's a risk taker. He's putting all 15 in.
He did ask when Calvin was on. He said, "What are the odds that Calvin bet on this game?"
Yeah, I saw that. I don't have I don't have a formal prediction model on that one, but my benchmark is it's pretty high.
Oh gosh. All right. Give you guys like 5 seconds. 5 seconds to get those final wagers in. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, gonna have to move forward. All right, here is your final question. It's in the category of the W25. In 06, 11, and 16, the WNBA published lists of the 10, 15, and 20 best and most influential players, respectively. The all-decade team, top 15 players of all time, and the top 20 at 20. 3 players made at least one of these lists and failed to make the W25 list of the 25 best and most influential players announced in 2021. 2 of these 3 players are Deanna Nolan and Teresa Weatherspoon. What 6-time WNBA All-Star is the 3rd player?
This one's for you, Richard Cohen. I know that as a WNBA expert, we've had plenty of college ones too. And
he did comment in our Slack that there've been a lot of NCAA questions. So yeah, hopefully this one makes him happy.
And he's coming to us from across the pond, right? So
indeed.
That's also been very American centric as well, but. That's the case. So yeah, no, I think this is a great question. I think some people maybe it looks like Dano's regretting his decision to go all in as well. But I think everybody's gonna love this question when they see the answer, which I don't think is giving too much away.
Yeah, no, for sure. I feel like you can have, obviously, if you have a decent working knowledge of these lists, you can have like an educated guess, but it's hard to know this one with 100%.
So what is like your these questions are amazing. I think actually this was a great final question because it might be the best one. I haven't mentally ranked them all yet, but what's your process when you're doing this? How many of these are you coming up with, and then you like winnow it down to the final ones? Or like, how are you?
Yeah,
doing this?
I just like, brainstormed like, I don't know, my initial brainstorm was like 30 questions.
Wow.
And then just tried to, have which ones I thought were just objectively like good questions, and which ones kind of I threw into the trash heap. So I kind of made that division, and then just tried to have a mix. I did err a little toward, more NCAA content, because it is NCAA season. But yeah, I tried to have some semblance of a mix of, periods and also NCAA versus pro. So yeah, that's kind of the very general process. But yeah, it all starts with that kind of big, brainstorm. I just drop a bunch of questions in and see which ones work well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Given the time, how long are you gonna give folks on this one?
Yeah, I'll give you guys give me 30 more seconds. 30 seconds. I got about half the team still need to answer. So there we go. There's another one.
And as also part of your process, have we all learned that your bank pin is 9463 or
no, that's oh goodness, I'm in trouble. No, it's a that's randomized for every Sporkle game. So yeah, and once again, shout out to Sporkle. They great trivia website, and yeah, thanks to them for letting us use this handy dandy digital answering system.
Yeah, maybe we can get them to sponsor the podcast. Happy to promote them.
I know, right?
I don't know what the crossover of women's basketball fans and trivia fans is, but it's definitely increased after your fine work tonight.
Let's hope so. All right, guys, 5 seconds. Last call for answers. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm gonna have to call it. All right, here we go. Final question. In 06, 11, and 16, the WNBA published lists of the 10, 15, and 20 best and most influential players, respectively. 3 players made at least one of these lists and failed to make the W25 list of the 25 best and most influential players. 2 of these 3 players are Deanna Nolan and Teresa Weatherspoon. What 6-time WNBA All-Star is the 3rd player? Few players got this one, actually, so kudos to them. The answer, the head coach of South Carolina, Dawn Staley. Dawn Staley is your answer. Yeah, no, some teams got that. Some players, got that.
Yeah. My question for you is, Adam, did you know that was the answer, like when you were coming up with the question, or did you sort of do your research and were like, oh, I can't believe it was Dawn Staley?
You know what? I actually was on Wikipedia, the W25 article for the Wikipedia article for W25 had like a footnote at the bottom that noted that statistic or whatever you want to call it, that fact. So yeah, I just kind of borrowed from that. But all right, so we are at the end of the game. It's now time to find out who our winners are. So we have a tie for 3rd place, Aaron. We do have a tiebreaker if you want to do that.
I think we should just leave it as, if people don't mind. If it was 1st place, maybe we would need to break the tie, but I'm happy to give them both the prize. And
sounds good. Just wanted to check with you.
I want to be respectful of the time, everybody's time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, just want to make sure you're okay with giving another prize out. All right, here we go. So this is non-Her Hoop Statsers. And I'll show the full standings to you in a second to all the players on their phones. Here we go. We have, in a tie for 3rd place with 37 points apiece, Ariel and Becky C. In 2nd place with 41 points, Lib Fan. And in 1st place, our winner with 50 points. They led most of the game, the Flyest Hoopa.
Ah, very nice.
Very nice. Flyest Hoopa, Libfan, Ariel, and Becky C. Congratulations. And to claim your prize, please reach out to Aaron Barzilai, and we can get you hooked up with whatever you want, the subscription and or the swag, depending on what place you came in.
For the record, Adam, I think you just won the podcast by pronouncing my last name correctly.
Oh, yes. All right. Well, that's it for the trivia game. I'll throw to you, Aaron, in a second, but I just want to thank you all for playing. Hope you had a great time. I had a great time hosting, so I can only hope you had as much fun as I did. Take care, and yeah, hopefully maybe we can do this again in the future. Aaron, all yours.
Sounds good. Well, thanks a lot, Adam. Thanks, Megan. You're welcome to hop on now or not. It's up to you. But really appreciate your fine production work today as well. Thank you so much. And yeah, like you said, I think, Adam, for me, it's just it's fun to take these moments to really reflect on the fact that we've been around for 5 years. And as I said, it's definitely a bit of a grind trying to make it all happen with all the commitments everybody has. But, it is really kind of amazing when you step back and think about it, kind of all we've been able to do. And, it's just the fun to kind of reminisce and have a moment to take stock and appreciate everything. So I just wanted to say I appreciated the two of you, appreciated everybody that joined us today, all the other great folks on the team that, I don't think people wanted to go 3 hours on trivia night tonight. So I just want to say thanks for everybody who supported us. Whether they're, subscribers, following us on the social media, kind of newsletter, podcast, because, it really is amazing and really kind of, I think, energizing for all of us. It's what really kind of keeps us going. And we're excited for kind of the next 5 years and beyond. We can do a W30 question, assuming that they have another thing for that. And I just wanted to say thanks. So really appreciate everybody. Have a good rest of your night, rest of your week. Happy holidays. And let's just enjoy what's shaping up to be another great women's college basketball season.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great
night.
Thank
you. We do have one question in the chat about throwing the email address up there again. Adam, if you can bring up that slide.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we can post that in the comments as well. Actually, if it's not too hard, why don't you put it on the slide? Is that possible, Adam?
Yeah, I'm just cycling through here.
Got it. And it is really also, Rebecca, I will say it's on our website as well under, I think, like our About Us or support page. So
it's almost there. There's Kelsey Plum again. There it is.
Yeah, it's not plum@gmail.com. Yeah. So, it's my first name, last name, Aaron Barzilai at HerdHoopStats.com.
Yeah. Right at the bottom.
Rebecca, does that work for you, hopefully? Really appreciate that. Congratulations again. And really congratulations to everybody.
Definitely.
Yes. Thanks, everyone, for playing, and have a great night.
Thanks, everyone.